What's good, y'all? Welcome back to I'll Do It Myself. So, yo, what's up? It's Monday. Good morning. Hope all of y'all are good. Hope y'all had a good weekend. Hope y'all didn't have hangovers. You feel me? Nah, but I just hope that everybody, you know what I mean, who is tuning into the channel as well. I hope that y'all are feeling good. I hope that y'all taking care of y'all health and taking care of yourself and taking care of y'all loved ones, most importantly. Today, we still talking about Lil Durk. So, you know, there's been, ever since, you know, Durk was picked up last week on this, you know, murder for hire charge, there's been so much social commentary. It's been so many people that know everything. It's people who don't know anything. It's people complaining about the people who say they know things. I think that, like, you know, everybody who is tuning into something like this, I'm not speaking specifically about my channel, but I'm talking about, you know, Durk's situation, they are going to have opinions, right? Like, the people who are not from the street, of course they're going to have opinions. Who can't? This is news, you know what I'm saying? But what I do want to point out, right, is that for all the guys that are defending him, I mean, y'all got to chill, man. Y'all really got to chill. I think that there's an assessment that needs to be made upon people's character when they come out on social media and start defending people, because people start looking into what you did or what you haven't done, or the things that you're saying, or the images that you've portrayed, or, you know what I'm saying, just basically what your brand is overall. And I wanted to talk about that. And first I wanted to get into this clip because, you know, when this clip came out, this is Durk, you know, doing $1 million worth of game with Gilly and Wallo. And when this clip came out, you know, there was people who understood it, but there was people who thought it was a joke, and they laughed at it. Let's check it out.
Hold on and keep going, because I'm telling you, man, I can name 20, 30 niggas and my homies is dead. I'm here, though. And I'm going to say some shit that, like, this is documented. You know, I got a TED Talk. I forgave my brother's killer. And I'm saying it to say this. Nigga that killed my brother, my brother died in my grandma's arms. In that fucking house that we grew up in. Nigga shot my brother, he ran to the house. He died in Nanny arms when she opened the door. So I'm telling you, there's some real shit, man. If I ain't let that shit go, I won't be right here today. I won't be here for my niece and my nephews. Me and Gil won't be doing this. Y'all won't know me. I won't be able to get y'all this game. But I had to leave. I had to let that shit go. And when I let that shit go, nigga, I started to grow. And I started to glow. And now I'm here today, and it was harder than a motherfucker, man. And I'm talking about, this is my big brother, nigga. I shared the cell with him. I shared the bed with him when we was fucking kids. This is little Steve. But I can tell you one thing. Now I'm out here taking care of his daughter, paying for her to go to school, taking care of my nephew, taking care of my mama and my grandmama.
Talk to him. Sure.
Because I forgave my brother killer, but you know, I understand. I understand what y'all going through. But I love all you young niggas in here. And I mean that shit. I love you niggas, man. And I hope y'all make it out.
So
I hope y'all make it to
fuck. That was heavy, right? Wallo was basically, you know, pleading, you know what I'm saying, pleading with not only Durk, but all of the dudes that he brought into that room with him while, you know, telling them about his story. You know, Wallo, I think Wallo has one of the more inspirational stories that we've seen when it comes to media probably ever. You know what I'm saying? For somebody who, you know, was running around in the streets at 17. See, this is the thing that's very important about not only the clip, but what he was saying. Wallo went to prison at 17 years old, which a lot of people are trying to reach these kids that are in those ages between 13 to about 21, right? And Wallo went to jail at 17. He was locked up for 20 years. Now, he's not talking from a place of arrogance. He's not talking from a place of sitting on some golden throne or being perfect. He's talking about, you know what I'm saying, how his actions led to his consequences. And his consequences is basically him spending 20 years in prison and also losing his brother. And how, you know what I mean, he had to forgive his brother's killer. Now, I know that, you know, when certain things happen, especially when blood is shed, it's hard to even think about the word forgiveness or even understand that ideology or what that even means, right? But at the same time, he's basically stating that, like, if he couldn't and didn't, he wouldn't be in the position he is now. And when that, like, you know, like I said, man, in social media, not just Instagram, but social media is really, you know what I mean, not friendly to people when they're being honest. You feel me? Like, with Wallo, you know, telling his story, you had people saying, oh, look at these old niggas, da-da-da-da. Then you had people who understood it. Now, the messed up thing about that is majority of people in that room, they're probably going to end up going down some of these certain paths because they want to portray themselves a certain way. I mean, you got one brother in the video, he got on a hoodie and it got 2 Glocks on it. It's a logo with Glocks on it. You know what I'm saying? I always tell people this. As much as I've ever seen artists and people talk about Glock, they ain't never gave out no endorsements. You feel me? But there's more. You know what I'm saying? It's been put out there that allegedly, or I didn't read the indictment, but OTF Jam, who is a member of OTF, was a person that was wearing a wire while around Lil Durk. Let's check out some of this footage so you can see who this dude was. Right, so you know, Durk performing in the video, talking about how he got jammed with me. Ironically, this is the person who supposedly had gotten him jammed up, right? But this is another lesson for y'all young brothers and sisters out there. I'm telling you, no matter how tough you think somebody is, man, no matter how gangster you think somebody is, there's tons of people who are willing to cooperate. And the reason why they're willing to cooperate is because they ain't trying to be in jail. So I'm telling you, yo, if a person tells you to do something for them, or they trying to have you do something for them or whatever, just think about that before, you know what I mean, before you make your decisions. And this is for just for the young brothers and sisters that's in the street, because them same people, when you do whatever you do for them, when you end up behind bars and you ain't got no money and ain't nobody looking for you or helping you or whatever the case may be, and you looking to get out of that jam, you probably going to tell too. So I'm just telling y'all, just stay out the streets, just for real. Like, stay out the streets. I hate the fact that, you know, these young dudes are thriving in negativity. They casting spells on each other. You know what I mean? Spells, spelling, words. They say that the tongue is mightier than a sword. You know what I mean? And that is for a reason. That's because a lot of the things that you speak about can come into existence, especially with situations where you're dealing with the streets or you're dealing with this music. I think that one of the main factors that we got to look at is that you got to be able to separate. You got to be able to separate what's real life from a movie, right? Like, these dudes be thinking they living in movies and they operate in this way where they think that nothing could never happen or can never be them. It can always be you. But besides that, one of the things that I also wanted to talk about with this whole Durk situation is this clip with him and Academics, where, you know, I mean, just because a lot of people were saying, yo, if y'all think that, you know what I mean, these dudes is catching wreck, if y'all think that the internet ain't had anything to do with it, you bugging out, because they was already, all right, well, watch this.
What are you talking about? By the Sly for Vaughn comments. I don't know if people still say it. They used to say it, but you also mentioned a song. They be like, they be saying Sly for Vaughn, I think they trolling me. Yo, by the way, them songs is fire, I ain't gonna lie.
For some reason, I just don't see the comments no more. For some odd reason. I don't know. Might be the water. You be seeing them comments a lot?
They kind of chilled out a little bit.
So, you know, it's basically that whole, you know, Sly for Vaughn thing. And, I mean, wow, look, we can all feel like, oh, nobody hyped him or nothing played into that but him. He's in jail now, right? And not only is he in jail now, I mean, this is one of the most craziest situations you could be faced with, because, again, he's in the feds. But aside from that, this is something that they can probably try to use against him. You know what I'm saying? Like, on one hand, I see where, you know, I've been doing a lot of different work around Killer Mike and all of that with Mobilize Justice, you know, moving around and getting people to register to vote. And one of the things that Killer Mike keeps reiterating is, I don't believe in lyrics being used in court against artists, which I can understand it, but I'm 50-50 on it. On one hand, yes, I think that if you create art, if you write from a perspective of what you've seen in your life or what you experienced or what others experienced, and it might be some bad stories, or it might be some stories that you're just telling, I don't think that you should be held accountable for that, right? But we're not just talking about that when it comes to some of this drill music and these drill artists. And I'm gonna get to another subject when it comes to that as well. A lot of these guys, you know, they don't always just paint pictures. they be active, right? So if something actually happened and you're alluding into it, that's a sign of arrogance, because you think it can't happen, and you think that the police or law enforcement don't know what social media is. You think they don't know what a DJ Academics or a Vlad is, regardless to if you think that they're the ones that supplying them, because it's not them supplying the feds or anybody with anything. It's you guys supplying the people with it, right? So just this whole situation with Durk, I mean, it's still very early. We all going to see how it plays out. I can't say, you know what I mean, what's going to be the verdict or nothing. That's not for me to say. But I do believe that this is kind of halting and shaking up with, you know, this drill culture. Because right now we're seeing the end results of everything, right? Like, Durk going to prison is the end result of the streets, not hip hop music. NBA Youngboy, him and Durk and this whole thing. I mean, his affiliates, whatever, with Quando Rondo, whatever, that situation that happened with Vaughn, the 4TK versus OTF beat, both of the heads of the brands of the companies are both in jail. So we're seeing the end result. Now, on one hand, yes, I mean, Durk made it to superstardom. He won a Grammy. You feel me? Like, he's performed all over the world. Multi-platinum records. You know what I'm saying? Tons of tickets sold. Big sold out tours with him and Little Baby. It's a lot of fame that came from his career, but at what sacrifice? Think about it like this. If you were a young artist and you have to, if you can have all of that, but let's not act like Durk wasn't always, you know, in jail in the beginning of his career. But if you had to go through all of that and then end up with the rest of your life taken from you potentially, is it worth it? I think not, right? So I think that a lot of y'all young brothers and sisters got to smarten up. And one thing when it comes to this drill stuff is crazy. So my friend and brother, John, he's from Harlem, and CJ, his older brother, lost a family member. CJ's, you know, son was lost to this drill stuff. And John had put something out. It's on his Instagram. I don't want to deep dive into what he said, but he just basically said about how, you know, when it comes to this whole drill stuff, how it's destroying our youth. And it is. I mean, I had this conversation one time. I think I was talking with Craig Kalman. Craig Kalman is one of the biggest executives in the game, major person in music. And we would, you know, I forget where we were at. We were at a dinner, and we were talking about King Von passing. He was like, man, that's so unfortunate, man. He's like, that's really unfortunate, you know what I mean, for somebody like him to have lost his life. And then, of course, like, you know, you factor in what King Von was doing, and it was street stuff. You know what I mean? It wasn't necessarily rap stuff. It was rap stuff that spilled into the streets. But, you know, there's this big misconception that all of these drill rappers is getting so much money and they doing so well and this, that, and the third. If you look at a lot of them, I mean, Pop Smoke started out in the drill scene, feel me? But he started to transition and was going in a different direction. But, you know, a lot of the music that he was making, look at the young dude who was part of taking his life. He said, oh, well, he was rapping about it. You know what I'm saying? Look at K Flock, who was looking like he was going to be the next big thing out of New York City. Drilling, you know what I'm saying? Like, this dude lived in the Bronx. Even if he's screaming self-defense, which there is no self-defense in New York City. You can't have no firearms in New York City. So this kid is going to end up doing some sort of time. He's already been in there for about 3 years. But he lived in the Bronx. He came over into Harlem and ended up, you know, taking somebody's life, allegedly. And when you just look at all of this stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like, these kids, they not artists. They're finding a way to express themselves and express their anger that they have for their peers through music. And the music isn't about making a good song or a hit song. It's about antagonizing. It's about antagonizing the other side. We got one up on you. And this way of life, or this, you know, how can I say? Because that is a culture. Drill is its own culture. That drill culture is so many young people, they're going to jail and they dying. You know what I'm saying? They're going to jail and they're dying. You could fill up a stadium with the amount of kids from every region that's in the drilling. I mean, I was sitting with a young artist from Atlanta one time, and I was talking to him about his music, and I was like, damn, when I was growing up, the dudes from Atlanta, they was from the street, but they was making people dance. You know what I'm saying? They was having fun. It's only like later years you found out that they was on some next level street shit, but they were, you know what I mean, making records about fun and what was going on in their neighborhood, the poverty, etc. A lot of these kids, man, the gift and the curse is the DIY, right? Do it yourself. on one hand, you respect the fact that somebody could get up and, you know, fuel their creativity and fuel what it is that they want to do. But on another hand, you know what I'm saying, if that creativity and what it is that you want to do, or a talent that you may think that you have, is pushing you to disrespect your opposition to the point where they feel like they have to take your life and you got to take theirs and y'all got to keep it going back and forth. What are we doing here? Feel me? I want to get off of that. You know what I mean? You know, this is, I do it myself. We don't want to stay too dark. You feel me? But I got to talk about these situations because they affect me. You know what I mean? They affect me in a lot of different ways. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like, you know, I'm just this guy that has all the answers. I don't. But I know one answer I would like to see. Y'all young brothers and sisters taking each other's lives. Aside from that, let's have some fun. All right. So Dwyane Wade, the best top three guard. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Dwyane Wade. I seen somebody talking about James Harden. Much as I love James Harden, he ain't never get no hardware. He ain't never won a ring. So I'm not going to put him in the same stratosphere as a D Wade. Now, if we talking about scoring, it's a lot of people who compare in those realms, but D Wade is the third best ever when it comes to being a shooting guard in this league and an example of what a shooting guard should be. They unveiled not a trophy. I'm bugging out. They unveiled the statue for D Wade in Miami, and this is how it went.
All right, let's count it down.
Yo, so yo, man, like, look at this, yo, bro. This is crazy. I mean, we needed another meme to get us through the rest of the year, but I did not know it was going to be D Wade. Shout out to my brother Rob Mark, man. He said that, man, they put a statue up of Red Fox faking a heart attack in Miami. Yo, man, for everything that D Wade has done in his career, man, y'all did bad. I just want to tell y'all. So this is what I don't understand. For all the resources that the NBA has, all the money that the Miami Heat has, these is billion-dollar companies. How do y'all get it wrong with these statues every time? Y'all got to do better, man. Salute to the brother D Wade and congratulations for him getting a statue, but they got to swap that out. This is I Do It Myself. I will catch y'all on another day. I appreciate y'all. For the ones that rock with me, you know how we doing. For the ones that don't, eventually will. Peace, y'all.